Don't forget to like, subscribe and share the videos.
Hello all, welcome to Ganesh AS Academy. This is a special session. In this session, we are going to discuss about the previous year UPSC Mains economic questions. So, the main motto behind the session is to how to approach the upcoming mains exam and what are the terminologies you have to focus, and if there is any terminology means what are the answers you have to give. Okay, so based on the terminology, the answers need to be certain. There is a certain need for certain variations in your answers, or else there is a certain changes in your subheadings. So based on which how you have to approach this mains exam. Okay, so all these things will be discussed here, and also we will discuss about certain new terminologies related to the economy, and also what are the possible questions that may be asked in the upcoming mains exam. For example, there is an article about the care economy. So when it comes to the care economy, you can relate it with gender budgeting, and also there is a possibility of lower female labor participation ratio. So based on which also there may be the question. So there are certain possibilities of questions based on the articles from the Hindu. So these are the certain things you need to focus. That thing also we will discuss here. And also when it comes to mains exam, it is purely about your understanding of the question. It is not about dumping whatever you know about the topic. It is about what is the question is actually asking, based on which only you have to answer it. It is not just dumping whatever you know about the topic. That is the one of the most important thing you want to know. Okay, let's begin the session. Okay, this question is about inclusive growth and the sustainable development. It is a 10-mark question. It was asked in 2020. Explain the intra-generational and intergenerational issue of equity from the perspectives of the inclusive growth and the sustainable development. So first of all, it is about the question of explain. Okay, so first is it about a simple of explain type question, and also it have lot of keywords. For example, intergeneration, intra-generation, inclusive growth, sustainable developments. So there are varieties of keywords used in this question. So first and foremost, you may get a doubt of what is the thing I need to address in the introduction, whether it is about the sustainable development, or else inclusive growth, or else intra-generational or intergeneration. So this is the major issue we may face, because introduction is the insight to our answer. In that scenario, the introduction is going to play a major role in your answer. So you have to give an introduction that should address the question in a holistic manner. So it's better to go with sustainable developments. So that is the better way of giving the intro. So what is the sustainable development? Which means simply we can say it as leaving something for the future. Okay, or else giving justice to the future generation, leaving something to the future, to the future generation. Okay, so which means you can use the atmosphere, you can use the earth, you can use the forest, you can use the water resources, but at the same time you are actually using the resources of the future generation also. So in that scenario, don't exploit it. Okay, so which means leave something for the future. because it is actually belongs to the future generation also. So you are making a debt to the future generation. So don't exploit the resources. So that is the thing about the sustainable development, based on which only UN gave a sustainable development goals. India also trying to incorporate that into their policies through various means, and also they have a report related to this called a sustainable development report, which is released by this Niti Aayog. When it comes to the global level, it is released by the United Nations. So there are certain things you can say. Okay, you can use it in the conclusion part. You can say that this is the report released by the Niti Aayog. By the way, this status have this much of rank, or else you can quote the global level sustainable development goals report based on which India's ranking. In that way also you can conclude your answer. Okay, so the intro can be about the sustainable development. Next, first explain the intra-generational. So what is this intra? Intra means within this generation. Okay, so within the generation you have to maintain certain equity. So that is the thing about the intra-generational. There is in the college days you may have heard about the thing called as intra-college competition, inter-college competition, which means intra-college means within the college between various departments. When it comes to the inter-college competition means with the other colleges. Okay, so there will be the lot of colleges, they will participate in that competition. Okay, so intra-generation means within that generation. So within that generation to maintain equity. First thing, you have to know about what is equity and what is equality. I just explained it based on the example. For example, the government is constructing a park and they are saying that it is accessible to everyone. So the rich also can access it, and the poor can also access this park. Okay, so with zero fee, which means that there won't be any income level issue. That is not going to happen when you are going to access this park. So this is called as equality. But when it comes to equity means it is more broader than that equality, which means even though you are saying that this park is open to all, but consider that in that park there is a staircase, means how the handicapped will climb that park, climb into that park. That is the issue. So which means there should be the ramp facility. And also if it is a park means there should be the availability of the restrooms for men and women. Okay, so these are the certain things that if you are going to focus on this micro level and you are going to address these issues means, then it is called as equity, which means you are providing accessibility to everyone, women, elderly, the person who are handicapped. So for everyone you are making an access means that is called as equity. Okay, so just because you are making the park is open to all means that is not a equality, that is only a equality. When it comes to equity means it should be in reality to have the equal access to everyone, it should provide it. So that is called as equity. So the question is asking about intra-generational equity from the perspectives of the inclusive growth and the sustainable development. Then you have to say that how this intra-generational equity is affected. That is the first thing you have to speak. For example, gender gap, or else you can say about the gender inequality, which means within the generation there is certain the inequality issue. So there is the society is not in the equity form. Next, income inequality, digital divide, okay. So or else you can speak about the people who are in a who are affected by the disabilities, okay, people who are in the disabled persons. So these are the peoples, okay, they are not treated in a well manner. So there is certain inequity issue. So that is the thing about the intra-generation. Okay, then what is intergenerational? So actually all these things are connected to the inclusive growth. If you are going to address all these things means, then it will create an inclusive growth. So what is this inclusive growth means? It is benefit for all. So if you are going to address all this issue means, then it will create the inclusive growth, which means benefit for all. Everyone is going to benefit from it. So intergeneration, okay, sorry, intra-generation is related to the inclusive growth, okay. Then the intergeneration, which means in this intergeneration, it is about the relationship between the generation to generation, okay. It is a connect between the future generation and the present generation. So if you are going to exploit this present resources means, that is going to affect the future generation. For example, climate change, pollution, global warming, all these things are going to affect the future generation only. So when it comes to intergeneration, okay, intergeneration equity, it is affected by exploitations of natural resources, climate change, deforestation, okay. So by the way, you are affecting the intergenerational equity, okay. So if you are going to address these things means, that will create the sustainable development. So that is going to create a sustainable development, which means leaving something for the future, okay. So when it comes to intergeneration, okay, so intergenerational equity means that is going to address the issue of the sustainable development. Intragenerational means it is going to address the issue of this inclusive growth, okay. So these are the things you have to list it, and also you have to speak about certain things like what are the measures the government actually taking for it, okay. For example, for a gender gap and gender inequality, there is a scheme called as Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. You can quote it. When it comes to the income inequality, you can quote the Oxfam report. So these are the certain things that can enrich your answer. So to overcome this income inequality, there is a scheme called as MG Narega, okay. Or else there is a government is giving certain subsidized benefits to the people who are in the below poverty line. So you can quote that. When it comes to the digital divide means, the government is trying to create awareness about this digital literacy. Financial inequalities, financial inclusion is not there in the society. People don't know how to save their money, or else how to invest their money. So these are the issues of the intra-generation, okay. So if you are going to address this thing means, it will create the inclusive growth. That is also you can quote. So this is how you have to address this question. And also when it comes to the intergeneration, you can speak about the United Nations measures to enhance the forest cover, and also governments, Indian government move towards increasing the forest cover. So you can speak about that thing also. So this is the way you have to address this question. So issue, okay, related reports, and then the measures. So for a single subheading, you are giving a 3 points, and all the 3 points are totally connected to that answer. So that will boost your mark. This is the way you have to address these questions. Okay, and then conclude it with data from that United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and India's ranking. What are the measures India is doing towards enhances these things? So that in that way you have to conclude it in a positive manner. That is the more important thing. Okay, thank you.